Welcome to Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. I'm James Short, and this show dives into the real stories behind the agents and the leaders shaping our industry. No polished highlight reels, just honest conversations about what's working, what's not, and how they're building businesses that actually grow. Each episode, I sit down with someone in the trenches, top performers, rising leaders, business owners who've cracked the code and others still figuring it out. We unpack the wins, the failures, the habits, and the lessons you can put to work straight away. Before we dive in, can I ask a favor, and please subscribe or follow on the platform you're listening or watching this. The more we grow, the bigger impact we can have together. And thank you. Let's get started. Welcome back to another edition to Leading and Growing Your Real Estate Business. Bit of a change of pace today. We're here with the amazing Murray Parr. We're actually located in his wife's gallery called Bingara Gallery, up in the northern New South Wales in Knock Road. Beautiful place. If you're ever up here, come and check it out. Some of these paintings that she's done, absolutely phenomenal. But we're talking about Murray today. And everything else, dear friend of mine, great mates, inspiring, leader, coach, but also making some big changes overseas, which I want to go through today. So, mate, thank you for joining us.
Mate, it's great to be here.
So let's get into it. Why should the listeners stay to the what I'm going to be covering today?
Look, we're talking about an organisation that's predominantly we work with children who have been abandoned or orphaned. We work with children who normally wouldn't have an education ever.
Yeah.
I guess that I'm hoping what comes out of this little podcast is that I generally feel that people have a real desire to give, but not always sure who they're giving their money to. And these days we know that there's quite a lot of people who do rip people off. But when it's the grassroots organisation, we turn the dollar over 3 times. But most importantly, why do we do things that makes us feel good? And this is an opportunity where people can actually give, they can identify what they want to give to, and that money goes directly to whatever it is within our organisation. So it's that we all know that in giving we receive. And I think that's probably the take home, that if there's anybody out there today who's interested in doing some good for the purpose of giving good, so that you can feel good about yourself, that's probably the take home for today.
I just want to grab on that because obviously in the real estate space, I see a lot of agents and business owners just donate money, hoping and just forgetting about it. But what I love about what you're doing is you actually can see the impact that you're having, where a lot of these large organizations, large charities, there's so much admin and costs that you don't see and you're just hoping. But that's what I love about what you're doing in the program over in Zimbabwe is the impact that you're having and the noticeable effect and impact that you're having with the families and the kids and everyone over there.
100%. For instance, at the moment, I've got a couple of nephews who are incredibly jealous, who are raising money for a borehole. So we've got a 7-acre property, and we've got our school is on the property. We've only got 21 kids, or soon to be 21 kids, and we've got this 7 acres of rich land. And so the point is that we do have a borehole. It's only just being fixed, but it does 1 acre. But we've got 6 acres where I can see with an irrigation system and a borehole that we can grow our own vegetables, and all of our 23 staff can eat out of that rather than using their salary to go and buy food. So there's a whole range of different things. So when a person puts their money in and I'm talking to them or they send me an email, then I can make sure, because of the director, I can make sure that money that goes towards whatever it is that they nominate for that year, and then reply to them. We say you'll get a monthly newsletter. You'll see what you've done. Like for instance, the borehole, you'll see it works. There'll be a little bit of footage there. There'll be a thank you note. And it's so important that you as a donor, and you are a donor, and I appreciate that you get a newsletter. You know where it's going. You know what's happening. And I think that's something that we could do a lot better than some of these bigger companies, just getting 2 minutes from a kid in Namibia, something like that, just twice a year.
So let's get back a little bit. How did you get involved with this organisation, and what's your journey been personally?
Look, back in 2010, real quick summary, Angela were traveling around 9 different countries in Africa. A friend of ours who was going to my church basically just said, look, we should look up my brother. He's got a good organisation over there and he's doing some great stuff. So we landed in Zimbabwe. We met him, and in the end, Ange and I had a good chat, and Ange came home. She was in the real estate business, and I decided to stay. It was just something that I always wanted to do. She was okay with that. And for the 3 months that I was there, something significant happened. I found my purpose. Wow. And I can tell you, when you find your purpose and your passion, it makes such a difference that all the challenges that come seem smaller compared to the passion that you have to, in my case, to be in this role as the director now after 15 years. I've been there 6 times. I've walked along the journey with my mate Marty, who is basically the CEO. Just recently, he's having a bit of time off. He's coming back to Australia. And he's after 22 years, he really needs a bit of a break. So he's done an amazing job. So now I'm taking his role and he's supporting me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so now with that new role, what has that shifted in you in relations to this amazing purpose that you're on?
Yeah.
How has this now shifted how you're seeing things and doing things? Because we had a chat off camera about, all right, now I'm going to zoom in. How is that now more involvement look like for you?
Mate, that's a great question. See, I went over to Zim in September thinking that I had this tin badge, like I'm the director now. And I think they're just thinking that I'm holding that space. But there was a moment in the taxi that I was in, Marty rang me actually, and we're looking for an accountant, a finance person, and he said, look, I know it's just an innocuous comment that caused something to happen in me. And I thought, I think the responsibility, I grabbed hold of the responsibility weight of, not that it's heavy, but that weight of ownership. I think if I stepped from being somebody who's helping for the last 15 years to, now I'm in charge of my staff. I'm in charge of the projects. Ultimately, I'm in charge with the finances. I'm accountable to a board. We have a fantastic board, but of course there needs to be transparency and everything. So all of a sudden I'm going, I'm actually really wearing this director's hat, and I never came with it. So it became real.
Yeah, I love that because it takes it from really being ingrained in the organisation rather than just helping the organisation. You are like the face of it, so to speak.
Yes.
Of orchestrating the activities, as you said, the projects and the team and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a huge responsibility and a huge honor at the same time. So talk to me about some of those challenges, though, in relations to what you're facing. What are they facing over there? What are some of those projects that you're working on? I mean, the board, all that kind of stuff. But what are some of those challenges that they're facing?
Look, the challenges, James, honestly, when I go out to meet the people who live in these squatters camps, and I look around and I just see no power, no water, no sewage. If they do have water, the council only turns it on twice a week, and I've got to walk sometimes up to 10 kilometres with buckets and an old wheelbarrow to fill it buckets up with water to bring home. I've met a woman. She's got 2 little kids on either side of her. She's got one on the breast, and she says to me, I have to wait until it gets dark to go outside to watch my children now, but in particular to watch me now, because I just live in little tiny tin sheds that scramble on with a ferry or whatever it is to like this little tiny place where they could sleep, no doors. And she said, I've got to go outside to clean myself off because I don't want to do that in front of everybody. She said, but I'm just so worried about the States. And that's just, there's so many stories like that. I think these people every single day wake up and wonder where they're going to get food from, where they're going to get water from, where they're even going to get some timber from to do some cooking on, even if they had something. I don't know how they do it. I mean, talking about 85% of Zimbabweans do not work. We're talking about And the inflation rate is traveling around about just under 500% at the moment. So there's a lot of food on the shelves if you go into the city, but nobody can afford to buy it. It's just massive.
That's incredible.
We don't have a government that provides aid of any sort. There is the big organisations out there like World Vision and Caritas and staff of others. But ultimately, it's so different from our own country. You don't even get to go to a hospital. You don't even get to go to a doctor unless you pay them first. And often it's $50 or something like that just to see the doctor. Where are they going to get that money from? Seriously. I dropped in and I saw a guy, his name is Roger, and he'd been living in a tin shed for 2 years. He's got a retarded son. I don't know if that's the right word, so I didn't mean to say that word. Yep. But he's challenged. And he does his best for his dad. Dad's 89. He is skin and bone. There's not one, it's like you pull brown blood back over a skeleton. And I said to him, mate, do you want us to get a doctor or do you want to die? And he said, I just want to die. Prayed for him, anointed him. And then I just had to get back to my car. I left him a couple of oranges and an apple. That's all I had. Yeah. These are stories that are everyday stories, James. When people say to me here, oh, the bills are going up, or the cost of living, or one thing or other, I'm just inside my head going, man, I've got no idea. You've got no idea. But, of course, they don't have any idea. Unless you've been there. It's okay. Hey, with the list, I've been there half a dozen times over 15 years. So I've seen it, but not everybody gets to see that. But I do know that a lot of people would like to help where they can help.
How do you go from seeing that and being over there when you go and visit and being great in helping them to then come back here and hear those stories around, well, my power bills and poor me, the price of coffee is going through the roof and avocado and so what's right? How do you pass this up?
I guess I decided not to be judgmental. Yep. I decided that because I'm no different. I come back here and I'll complain. And then I'll give myself a uppercut going, Mara, can you hear your voice right now? So I've learned how to put it in boxes. So when I'm in the museum, I can unpack that box and I can be amongst the people. When I come home here, I can't pack it away, but I don't know, send down and balance the two now. My first couple of times over there, I found it really hard. First time I came back was Christmas time. And all I saw was the Woolies and the Coles ads and I'm just jumping. It was all about food. That was really hard for me to handle. And I've got better at that the more times that I go over and come back.
Yeah. And what are you noticing over the time, over the 15 years that you've been involved? What are some of those trends that you've seen? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Is it staying the same? What are you noticing?
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Yeah, each time I go over there, it just seems to just be that much worse. People say to me, why are we bothering, Mark? Why do you bother? Because you'll never get rid of poverty. You'll never ever be able to fix the problem. It's like putting a drop of water on a hot plate. Of course, the big picture is they're right. We're always going to have people who are in desperate need. However, when an old woman comes up to you and she's got two kids on either side of her, she's crying because her daughter's passed away. She's inherited the 2 kids. The kids haven't eaten for 2 days. As she comes up and says, I've got nothing to feed my kids, then we can go and organise a food parcel for a month, check in on her each month. That one person, for her, it made a big difference. Yeah. And there's hundreds of stories like that. We go out to squatters' camps with a truckload of food parcels, soap, sugar, oil, familia, which is basically the staple diet, mashed potato and rubbery potato porridge. Not my thing, but it's got those things that we can continually go out and support those people when we can. Soup kitchen and all sorts of things that we've done in the past.
And so what's some of the exciting projects that you're working on and you'd like to work on in the future, but you need maybe some extra help or some assistance to do that?
Okay, thanks for that. I'll start with the little ones first. Yep. At the moment, the one is the boreholes.
Yes.
Actually, I'm working on 2 boreholes. The second one is where the kids are in this old, it's just like an old rambling, early century homestead. But there's no plasterboard in the ceilings. And it gets hot or it gets cold. and the kids can hear other kids in the other classroom. So I do want to get that sorted out. I want to get some plasterboard in there, put a bit of paint around the place. That's going to make a difference. We've only just recently connected them to the world. So we've got, thank you, Elon Musk, we've got Skylink. And so our kids are talking to the kids back here in Australia, in Dublin, at the Richmond Christian College.
Really?
So we've got these kids talking to kids. Some of that, and of course, we need the irrigation drip feeders, because once that borehole goes in, we need to make sure that we've got lines and lines of wires of drip feeders so that the rich ground and the seed can grow this wonderful cross. And I have seen it.
Really?
I have seen it in the last 15 years, like a garden of Eden, if you can imagine that. Just grows and grows vegetables. We've got a mill. Okay. That means we can invite people in from outside. They can grind up that mill for $1. We can turn the money back into the gardening. But ultimately, the bigger picture is I've got the plans in at the moment for council, because there's bigger projects that we've got 5 people all stuck in a little tiny office on the property where we have the not I'll call it the baby's home, 0 to 5. And everybody's scrambling there. A wonderful couple, well, years ago, put a foundation down. It's been just sitting there dormant. So I've just got the plans organised out. I'm not sure what that's going to cost, but I know that at the time when it comes to raising that money, it'll come in. It might be $50,000 US to sort that out. But we do need to do things professionally, because the Australian government require us as a doctor to make sure that we are completely transparent, that we are giving them the right feedback for what they're after, so that there's, again, there's that transparency in how the Australian government help our donors, but also there's a requirement from us to make sure that we hit the goals that they set for us.
Fantastic. What haven't we touched about that we need to talk about?
Oh. Immediately that comes up in my mind is I'm always looking for people who might be interested in what I'm doing. And if you're listening and watching today and you've got a sense there that you would like to know more, then probably at the end of this, we can put my email address in, put my phone number. I can give you the email, the website of our organisation. But I'm looking for people who actually just want to read my newsletters. That's because I want donors. Everybody wants something, yeah? And I absolutely need donors to make these things happen. But at the same time, I write the newsletters once a month. And I like to put stuff in there. And so if the person's interested in just receiving a newsletter once a month, it's not very long. It's got a couple of pictures in it, and it's pretty self-explanatory. And within the newsletter, there's just a link that tells you to where you need to go if you want to actually make a donation. I actually set myself a goal, James. I reckon if I can find 100 people who will spend $12 a week, I can bill them 2 cups of coffee. Yep. For 1 year, that is going to get me a one-off between bouncing between red and being in the red and being in the black. Well, I can buy 100 people within the next few months who are willing to chuck in $12 Australian dollars, $12 per week. That's $48 a month. For 1 year, man, that just makes all the difference.
So I guess there's my challenge to all those watching and listening to this is be part of the 100. Be part of that opportunity to make those differences in the lives of such beautiful people, and having that impact that you can easily make just from 2 cups of coffee a week. It just makes it
totally tax deductible.
Yeah. So what's the website where to find out and also to register for the newsletter?
Look, it's just ourneighbours.org. It'll come up. It's on a bit of a change. It's going through a bit of a change at the moment. We haven't quite got rid of that because we don't have enough money to pay for it. But you'll get the general picture. Yeah. And certainly the way you can donate on that is you'll find that easy enough.
Beautiful. Go and check it out, ourneighbours.org. Buzz, really appreciate you, everything you do. You're one of the biggest hearts I've ever known, and thank you.
Thanks, want to know one.